All righty. Now I see it. It says the broadcast is live. That's what we want to see.
You're in the show.
Yeah, the show is here, and we are here on the show. And my name is Stu Helm, the food fan, and I'm here with my co-host, the world's greatest eater, Rick Krilia. Oh, and here's our producer here to probably congratulate herself for starting the show on time. Hey, Davey.
Hey.
Well done.
Yes, well done.
Right this time.
Yeah, you hit both buttons.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
It's very complicated.
Yeah. That's why we leave it up to you. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, welcome to the Asheville Food Fans podcast. I'm Stu Helm, the food fan. And as I said, my co-host, Rick Krilia, world's greatest eater, and our producer, Daveen Dial. And we are being recorded and hosted by WPVM 103.7, the voice of the mountains in Western North Carolina. Beautiful part of the country up here, like one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. So I decided to live here. I moved here from Chicago, which has its own beauty, but not like Western North Carolina.
Definitely not.
No. How long you been here, Rick? Didn't you grow up around here?
I grew up between Floyd and Roanoke, so in the Blue Ridge, but in Virginia, so about 3.5 hours north.
Okay.
But I spent a lot of time here in the 80s and 90s, like before there was a brewery. And then I moved here in 2017. So.
Okay. Pre-breweries.
Pre-breweries, I used to hang out. Downtown was boarded up.
Well, yep. That was before I got here. I got here in the early 2000s, and Summertown was still boarded up, actually, but not as much as back in the day. Yeah. But Daveen, you've been here since like the 70s or the 90s, or like I don't even know when.
I moved here in '89 from New Orleans.
Okay.
And there were no restaurants here either then. And then when you came to town, the restaurants started coming.
They heard I was here.
Yeah, they did.
They were like, finally, we can make some money in this town.
Yes.
This guy has support us. It's true, though. When I got here, there were a few restaurants, and there were a few of the sort of seed restaurants that started the whole sort of really good restaurant revolution, like Zambra was already here when I got here, and Salsas was already here, and they're both owned by Hector Diaz back in the day. Now Zambra is owned by somebody else, and Hector still owns Salsas. And what else was here?
Laughing Seed.
Yes, for sure. And Marketplace was here.
Yep.
And Vincenzo's downtown was here. Vinny's is a whole different place up on Merriman. But Vincenzo's was Vincenzo's when I moved here. But it was something else before that, like a hippy-dippy cafe or something. So there we go. A stroll down restaurant memory lane here on another exciting episode of The Food Fan. If you don't live in Asheville or only got here a few days ago, then this whole conversation would have been meaningless to you. But there you have it. That's the whole theme of this week's show, is meaningless conversation about our 3-block area that only we are familiar with. I'm just kidding. Although maybe. I do have a typed out agenda for us. And first of all, I want to say that our sometime tertiary host, now less and less frequent tertiary host, Luis Carlos, couldn't be here. He is this guy. He is working on Black reparations with the city of Asheville. Like last week, he was doing interpreting for them, and that might be what he's doing this week. But I think he's more involved, like actually working with businesses and stuff. And so the city of Asheville is doing reparations, and Luis is involved. And last week I told him to tell the city to take a hike, but this week I was like, all right, you go ahead and work on that, and we'll talk about chicken wings. We got it covered. Yeah, he's an important mover and shaker in this town, and but hopefully he'll be able to join us.
Good for him for doing good works that we should be doing instead of yabbering on about food.
No, boring old white guys like us should be over here in a corner yammering on about food. Well, other
Yeah,
people's.
Stu, I remember when we went to that
Yeah,
in Strata.
I had a chicken wing and it was good. Yeah, that's the level of contribution I can give. Because I'm not very deep, Rick. That's the theme.
Whatever.
I'm very shallow. And I've been trying to rope Bruce Waller into being our other sometime tertiary host, and he's got Juneteenth is this weekend,
Yeah.
and he's heavily involved with that. So he's like, let me do that, and then I'll come back on.
Yeah.
And let me just remind everybody.
He's a mover and a shaker.
Oh my God, yeah, like boom, like
Doesn't
everything.
stop.
Yeah. And Juneteenth is this weekend, and we're big celebration down on Depot Street in and around Grind Cafe. And
Yeah, what day are you going? Are you going all the days?
I live right around the corner, so I think I'll walk down there every day if I can, unless it's too blazing hot. That will.
Yeah, Saturday's
deter
looking
me.
pretty hot. But,
That's
yeah.
it. Well, I can go early or late in that case.
But
me and the Sunshine Rick, we are not friends.
I could tell that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you stay away from me, Sunshine. It's like, no way, man. I'm all over you. And guess what?
You need a sensible hat.
I do. I need a sensible outfit. I dress
like a
in
fedora,
black.
a black fedora.
I agree. I say when my hair matches my beard in terms of the gray, I'll go full old man at that point, and I'll start wearing a fedora. And I'm even gonna get a little tailored suit that I'll
There you
wear.
go.
Yeah.
Maybe put a little feather in it. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know, Rick. You're such a hippie. Right?
Well, the men's hats used to have like little feathers in them.
Oh yeah, like a short little cropped feather.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Why
no,
not?
not like a darn.
I don't know.
Look at me, self-correcting. Dream catcher thing. No. That could be your hoodie. You could have a dream catcher on your hoodie.
Oh my God. See, by the time I'm older, no more hoodies. I'll be wearing a smart little suit.
Yeah. A little cardigan.
Yeah.
Because you can't put a suit on anymore because of the arthritis in your shoulders.
Rick. Oh my God. I do have shoulder pain. It's like you're a psychic or something. Yeah.
No, it's called mid-50s. So
yeah. So you literally know my pain.
Yes.
Well, we do have a show about food, believe it or not.
Hey, let's talk about wings.
Let's do it. Let's do the wing thing. I'm super excited to talk about wings.
Where'd you eat wings from, Stu?
I didn't eat any wings. Hello?
All right. So I ate wings.
I
remember at homework.
No. Yeah.
I
go
did,
ahead, Rick.
I did wings from Galactic Pizza.
Ooh.
And I did wings from Thai Pearl.
Okay.
So I got the firecracker wings, the real spicy ones. So
nice.
So no new to me places, but like I told you, I'm kind of like feeling tapped out on choices.
Tapped out on choices. I think we still have a lot of new wings we haven't tried yet. I admit I've been lazy. It's like, oh my goodness, Davine, the heck. Something almost fell on our producer there. It was almost a Brett, who's the lead singer guy, got brained by some stuff that fell on him. I can't remember. Brett Michaels. Almost a Brett Michaels moment there for Davine. You okay?
It's the light. It's the snap-on light, and it pops off. It just takes it in his little brain. I'm just going to leave now. It pops, decides that it's had enough, and it's leaving.
Poltergeist.
Wow. It is a good light. You look great.
Yeah.
Good lighting.
If it would just behave.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave that up to you, Davine, to discipline your own equipment.
I will.
Okay. Now, I was walking home from the downtown area today, and I was walking through the South Slope, and I was like, God, diggity dang, I better get some wings. And I thought, I'll get them from Deli Lama, but they weren't there yet. And they started like 4, and it was only 3 or something like that. Some tragic cross starships or whatever. Cross starships, is that the expression? I don't know. I'm making them up. And then I was like, oh, I'll go to Bear's Barbecue because I like their wings.
Yeah, they're smoked wings. I haven't
Yeah.
had those yet.
But then I was like, oh, I just got those like a couple of weeks ago. They were my wings, and then I was like, I don't know what to do, and I almost got them from Iconic because then I'm running out of choices, because I'm starting to run out of restaurants, and didn't get them there either. So it's like I passed up on 2 opportunities, and it was only because I'd already gotten them. And bye, Davine. And the lesson there for me after talking to you, Rick, is I should have just gotten the wings that I had gotten before, because you got wings that you'd gotten before.
Oh yeah,
you should just always get wings. That's the lesson.
Out here in the hinterlands, I usually only get what Kickback brings, or I can get delivered. I don't do the corporate delivery services, but I will do like Galactic does their own deliveries. So,
okay. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
I got delivery. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and you know what I had this morning? I had the brisket gravy biscuit from Doc Brown's Barbecue. Oh my God. Yeah. The thing I was useless for like 2 hours after I ate it. So
let's launch right into what'd you eat? Where'd you eat? What'd you cook? Because Doc Brown's is on my list too. So let's talk about Doc Brown's. Now, Doc himself, David Brown, he's got a PhD. That's why they call him Doc, and he's got a history degree. And so
history degree. Yeah. He's a smart dude. He runs a lot of the, or at least he did before the pandemic, a lot of the trivia nights at different bars. And I used to go to the one at Highland. And he was fantastic. So
yeah, he's a very interesting guy, and in fact, we were talking about having him come on the show and talk to us. So I'll try to arrange that. And he just out of the blue. What's that?
Work it.
I will work it, Rick. Especially now that you've inspired me with that dance.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Hey, that's why I have such a lovely assistant as yourself, to sort of spice things up with a little dance every once in a while. Yeah. And so out of the blue, Doc or David, he was like, hey, can I bring you breakfast? And I normally don't really eat breakfast, but I was like, hell yeah. And he showed up with like a bucket load of food, including this brisket, gravy, and biscuits.
Oh, man.
Now, biscuits and gravy is a thing around here. Not such a thing where I grew up in Boston. Because you'd be like, biscuits and gravy, there's something missing, like a big old hunk of meat of some kind, and you don't really realize till you get to the South that the meat is in the gravy.
Yeah.
And it's usually pork. But Doc makes his with a beef brisket, and boy, howdy, it
is superb.
Yeah, it's special.
I had to go to the doctor, and so I was like trying to not eat before for a blood draw for my physical. And I just caved, and I went because I was hungry. I was like, I'll pass out if they take blood right now. So I ate it, and then I got there, and they're like, "Have you had anything to eat or drink today?" I was like, "Oh yeah."
There might be literal chunks of brisket.
You may have to shave about 100,000 points off the lipid profile. So.
Yeah. Well, Doc's is kind of irresistible. It's some of the best food, like his ribs and. Dang, and just his brisket, like straight up, like the gravy is made with some of the trimmings and stuff like that, but the straight up brisket is so good. And the biscuits are really good too, and they're very buttery, and he was describing how they're the kind of biscuits that they rise. I'm got a Band-Aid on, sorry. They rise, and then there's so much butter, like they start to separate, and then the top part slides off a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost like a roll sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And he's got a chef working with him. I can't remember her name right now, but he was very proud of her. And
she was at the truck this morning. She was fantastic. Okay. So
yeah. So Doc Brown's, everybody, out there in Candler, and that's out there where Rick lives, beyond Bree and practically in Mirkwood. Davey, that's a J.R.R. Tolkien reference in case
It
you
is.
missed that one. I know you're a huge Tolkien nerd.
Well, and to be clear, we're only 10.9 miles from the Shire.
The Shire being downtown Asheville.
Right. 10.9. Yeah. That's easy.
That's easy.
20 minutes driving with no traffic. Yeah.
And you could run that if you were in the company of orcs. You could just very quick forced run.
A big phalanx of orcs.
Yeah. Oh, good use of the word phalanx.
Yeah.
And now somebody's going to be like, I didn't know you could say phalanx on the radio. Because it sounds kind of dirty.
Yeah. Speaking of phalanx.
Yes.
The phalanx downtown is gone.
The what?
The obelisk?
Oh, the phallus downtown is gone.
Yes.
It is.
Oh, phallus. Yeah.
The phallus, yes. Yeah, they took the blocks away.
Yeah.
But there's a lawsuit.
There's like a nub left though, right?
Yeah. The nub. The nubbin.
The Zebulon Vance nub.
Yeah. Now, for anybody listening outside of Asheville, the Vance Monument was a giant obelisk in the middle of downtown.
Like the Washington Monument.
Yeah, and like basically a big giant middle finger to any kind of person who's progressive or black or whatever. Yeah. And because Zebulon Vance was just a straight up racist. When you read some of what he wrote, you're like, oh man, this guy.
He believed in eugenics.
Oh, he was a bad, bad man. And there's like a big monument to him in the middle of downtown. And before you write your cards and letters to me, they had a long debate about this thing.
We overthought it very well, like Asheville always does.
We gave everybody a chance to have an opinion.
Yeah.
And then we took it down. And then we took it down.
And then we took it down. And now somebody is suing us because we took it down. And so it's on pause, but they're like, well, there's nothing but a.
But it has more to do with commerce contracts than the actual symbolism, I think.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to settle it with some money.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And let that be a lesson to city, not to get into contract obligations with racist monuments.
Yes.
Yeah. Let those just sort of peter out over time. So yeah, the nubbin downtown. So, and speaking of racist relics, a sad farewell to the woman who runs the Celtic Way. Did you hear that she passed away? Yeah, she was notoriously racist. And if you
I'm sad I never went. I was like, I need to go, but yeah, I never went.
No,
but I know so many stories. So
what happened?
She
died in February, I think.
Yeah, she just passed away.
She was older, I think, like maybe 80s, late 70s, early 80s. So
I'm not sure, but we're
on Wall Street too, and she was the most racist shop on Wall Street.
Oh yeah, oh my God! Like not just racist, but like if you were Scottish, like if you weren't straight up Scottish, she didn't want nothing to do with you. Yeah. Like, you're French background? Get out of here. Like, I think we talked about her last week because I think I remember telling you that a friend of mine went in with her husband who's Scottish, and she was like, what family? And he said his last name. She said, oh, you have a dingy tartan. Like, she even dissed on the dude's tartan.
Oh God!
So,
meaning that the family didn't have a good name or something. Right?
Something, yeah. It was some sort of. I guess that'd be a Scottish insult. You have a dingy tartan. So yeah, she was something else, a character. Let's say that. And
she was local color for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody said to me, like, despite her horrible opinions, the expression "keep Asheville weird," she was definitely like old school weird Asheville. So, So it'll be interesting to see what goes in her shop. That's where my mind goes next. Is that was a prime piece of real estate that usually was just full of dusty old Donald Trump books and stuff like that. So we'll see if
hopefully it's the Grind's second location.
That would be perfect. That would be totally perfect. Let's advocate for that.
We'll get Bruce on that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Do that because he probably doesn't know. So
yeah. So let's see. I'm still doing Where'd You Eat, and I'll go through it pretty quickly. I got some Waku Waku again. I got it delivered by Chef Naomi herself, and that's the sushi place that was up on Merriman, and it closed down. And people were like, "Oh, it's gone," but it wasn't really gone. She just moved into a commercial kitchen, and she's doing online ordering and pickup, I think 3 days a week from 2 or 3 different locations. And so I don't have a car, so she brings me mine, and she just styled me out with some bento boxes and stuff. And I'll post the pictures online, and y'all will be blown away by how cute this food looks. And these bento boxes are so cute, and the presentation is just unreal. And I think she's like sort of a hidden treasure in a way, like a superstar in the making, as she kind of finds her audience with this food. Because even though, oh, go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say, it's been on my list ever since, because I think you went there maybe like, or she brought you food maybe like 6 weeks ago or something like that. And I looked at it and I was like, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful food.
Yeah, it is. She, like, presentation is key with her. And her sushi is from a certain area of Japan where she's from. I think it's Okinawa. And it's actually called Oshi Zushi. It's Oshizushi. Oshi Zushi.
Wow.
And it's pressed sushi, so it's little squares. It looks almost like little confections, but it's rice.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
yeah. I remember that from your picture.
Yeah. And then the bento box was just like killer. And you'll see pictures of that. So I recommend that very highly for the people of Asheville, Waku Waku. And for people outside of Asheville, see if you can find somebody in your town that's doing pressed sushi, or Oshi Zushi, as it's called. And then in that same Asian cuisine, I went to Wild Ginger, and I went with my friend Amber Arthur, who owns a bunch of businesses around town. Yeah, she owns Penny Cup and Battle Cat and Old London Road and stuff like that, and just a really great person. And we went up there to Wild Ginger on Hendersonville Road, and it's awesome. Like, by far one of the best restaurants in the whole area. The banh mi is just killer, like so delicious and tasty, and the bread is so soft, but like kind of toasty at the same. It's brown.
Yeah, the crust is toasty. Yeah.
Yeah, but not hard. Like not.
Yeah, no, it just needs to break a little bit when you eat it.
Yeah, and just everything was very good. So I recommend Wild Ginger to everybody. Not to be confused with Red Ginger downtown, that I also recommend, but 2 totally different places that people always confuse. And I also went to the S&W cafeteria opening, but we can kind of talk about that in the food news section if we want to, because it wasn't so much about the food as it was about the opening. And then last, I want to say that I went to Twisted Laurel to meet my friend Patty Riles from Asheville Food Tours. And last year, I gave Twisted Laurel my Restaurant of the Year award, which I think probably surprised some people because they fly under the radar and they don't have a great reputation because the menu used to be mediocre, and then it became very confused, and people don't realize that they've dialed their menu in and that they've got great staff and everything. But I went with Patty, and I had a smash burger. And a lot of people say they make a smash burger, but they're just making a little tiny hamburger, you know. But Tom, the chef there, Tom LaFauci, I didn't know myself this was the way to make a great smash burger. Like, the more you handle the meat, the more compact it gets, right? So one thing I like about his burgers is they have a crumble to them, and he just doesn't handle the meat very much. He just picks it up and he puts it in a ball on the grill and lets the ball get kind of caramelized on the bottom, and then he puts mustard on the grill around the ball and flips it over and smashes it down into that mustard and grills the other half that way. And that's the other side, I mean, that way. And then he serves a double burger. I'd never heard of that, but I guess that's a thing. And I'm probably dumb.
Well, the whole ball thing, and then letting just a certain like 50-cent piece size of the ball get crispy before you smash. That's like classic smash burger recipe. Like, the guy who invented it, That's
Okay.
his trick. But then after that, the mustard, I don't think that's standard protocol. It's interesting.
I don't know. Like it could be traditional, like from Smashburger is a chain. Is that correct? Out west? Like I'm so stupid. I don't know about chain restaurants.
Yeah,
I
don't know those details, but I know I watched the video with the guy who invented them, and he was all about the making the ball and the.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes it for a great burger, and then he just tops it with American cheese and serves it on a really nice roll that, from what I understand, is just a commodity roll. He doesn't get it from a local baker or anything like that, but it's really, really good. And then house-made potato chips is what I had with it. And man, I'm telling you what, like Asheville, go out and get this particular smash burger at Twisted Laurel. And I directed several people to Twisted Laurel in the last couple of weeks, and they wrote back to me and said, like, man, good suggestion, man. I took people with large groups often write to me, where can I go? And Twisted is pretty big. And so I've been sending big groups there, and they're like, everybody loved it and stuff. So high recommendations for Twisted Laurel these days. If you've never been, give it a shot. If you haven't been in a couple of years, it's way different than it used to be.
I went once, and I was like, but
Me too.
I need to go back. So
absolutely.
So what you got, Davine?
I want to ask Rick a question. So Rick, I have been impressed with the level of trivia that you know about food, like how the smash burger got started and that pork thing that y'all talked about last week.
The Rions.
The Rions. So
yeah.
I'm curious about how you got so acquainted with food minutia.
Wow.
I know that's off topic, but I think other minds might want to know too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I got a cookbook. I got my first cookbook was a Christmas gift. My first wife. It's like 1989, I think. And we were vegetarian at the time, and I learned to cook like 70% of those recipes. And we were grad students. Like I just really was like, yeah, this is how we got to buy our food. Go to the grocery store, go to Food Lion, and make stuff. And then I got pretty good at cooking, but it wasn't really till I lived out west. And then I got exposed to some really great chefs through mutual, like friend of a friend and stuff like that, and just watching and listening, and I don't know, I just kept refining, and it's like half of my YouTube save list is like food videos. So I don't know. I just love food.
So you're a YouTube student.
Yes. So, but thank you for saying all that. That's really nice. I just like food. So.
Well, I think you're such a great co-host, Rick. Like when we first started doing the Wing Thing podcast, I was like, I barely knew you, and I was just like, maybe whatever. We'll see if this will work. But then it's like you knew more and more and more about food, and I used to do the podcast or the radio show with Chef, and I always felt like that was good counterpart to me because I don't really know a lot, and I was a little nervous having somebody who would be my counterpart who wasn't a chef. But you're great, man. You know it all. So
schmoopy.
Yeah, that's right. You complete me, Rick. God, that was hard for me to even say.
Oh man, I'm gonna get you. But I will. Since we're talking about food and where we ate, I didn't really go. Are you done?
Well, I cooked something, and I'll just mention it briefly because it was your bacon. I cooked.
Oh.
Yeah, and I made some mac and cheese, and I just chopped up I took the ends that you gave me, and I chopped them up a lot. And I fried them, and then I added them to the mac and cheese.
Bacon bits. How was it?
It was so bomb.
Those ends are so amazing.
They were nice and chewy, and they were so good. So that's what I cooked.
I like them in green beans. That's my favorite way to do, or collards.
Ooh, I bet that's good. Oh, and collards. I bet that's great. Yeah,
But,
so I'm gonna add them to some beans next. I've got a can of beans in the fridge. I'm gonna cook
oh yeah,
those.
there you go.
Yeah.
Just
All right, so
let them
now I'm
simmer
done.
on low. All right.
Okay.
So where'd I eat? I ate. I did the usual rounds in Candler. I did Sand Hill Kitchen.
Nice.
We got. I think we got fried chicken sandwiches, and then let's see. Uh, oh, I went to a blacksmith gathering up in Weaverville last Saturday, and we got. I spent a lot of money with Kickback. We got a bunch of food from 12 Bones South, and that was
Nice.
fantastic. Like
12
$200 worth of food.
Hell yeah.
We fed a bunch of blacksmiths. That was great. And
That's
then
great.
and I of course got the ribs. And then
And you paid out the wazoo for those ribs, didn't you, Rick?
yes, but I didn't end up paying for everything. Like
Okay.
buddy, a blacksmith who was feeling flush, like footed most of it. But yeah,
Dang,
but
then yeah,
it was
order
just
up some ribs.
oh yeah, they were so good. And they
Yeah.
let's see where else. Galactic Pizza. Where else did I? Oh, Malvern. We did burgers. We didn't. Yeah, they're kind of like our go-to. Like it's like I can't make up my mind and I don't want to cook. It's like, well, let's just get burgers from the Malvern. Like, and there, it's like we're never ever disappointed. So
Never. Yeah, that's Chef Chris Cox up there at the Malvern, aka Burger Boy, and
he's going to be in the hot dog thing, right?
yeah, he's competing in the hot dog throwdown.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a competitor drop out this week, Rick, so I'm scrambling to fill that space. I asked Jamie Wade if she would fill it, but she said no. I mean, she wanted to, but she was like, "I'm actually exhausted." So yeah, now I'm soliciting a couple of other people. See if
I have an idea.
Oh, what's that?
The folks from Foothills.
Here's the thing. That was Don also suggested Foothills, and we have a hot dog sponsor. The
Gotcha.
Brasstown Beef,
Yeah.
and so Foothills could bring their own hot dogs. That's like not against the rules, but it would be kind of
dicey. That's dicey.
Yeah, I don't want them to have a knife fight right in the middle of the hot dog thing. You know.
Good point. All right. Well, that's who makes my favorite hot dog. So
they make great hot dogs, but these Brasstown beef dogs. Did you see the picture I posted?
Yeah, they look good.
Oh yeah, so those are new. The kind of new, and they were like they asked me a couple of weeks ago, can we sponsor the hot dog event? And folks were talking about something called Punk Rock Hot Dogs, which is a hot dog competition that I host. I'm supposed to host it once a year, but the first one was in 2019, which will tell you that I have not done it every year since.
Yeah.
And 2021 is my second one.
Corona dogs.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah.
We were all okay. Where else? Oh, Thai Pearl. We did Thai Pearl, and then I cooked. I did a couple of things. I did some bacon, more BLT stuff because I got a ton of bacon right now, and then I did kind of a loco moco dish because I had some burgers in the freezer I had to use, and I made some pappardelle pasta, and I did like a garlic and mushroom base with that, and then the burger, and then I did a homemade white cheddar cheese sauce that kind of like brought the room together. So that was pretty great. But tonight is the thing. Tonight I did this.
The heck is that?
See it. This is pan-seared scallops from Mother
I
Ocean.
saw your picture on
and
Facebook.
I did orzo, organic orzo with pesto, and I did sautéed, kind of like crispy sautéed asparagus, and some smoky paprika dressed on the top, and like it was fantastic. Just scallops were amazing. So
you're killing me.
I'm killing me here. I'm killing me here.
As usual, I feel like the weakest link on this podcast. You're like
whatever.
searing scallops, and I'm like, I ate some saltines this week. You're like, I visited 20 restaurants. I'm like, well, I made some mac and cheese with your bacon. Just trying to ride your coattails by adding your bacon to my food.
Whatever, man. I'm just so happy to finally try Mother Ocean's seafood, right? Because you've been talking Mother Ocean for a long time, and they are now at our we have a tailgate market here in the Twin Cities of Inca Candler, and it's on Thursdays, and I went and I met Sam, the proprietor, and we had a great conversation and learned a lot. And I can't wait to go back next week and get some. He's got some yellowtail snapper coming in right now. It's amazing. So, but yeah, so I was just real psyched. I was like, market seafood, like, where do you get seafood in Candler? You don't. That's crazy.
Yeah. When I first moved up here to Western North Carolina, I was like, well, I guess no more seafood for me. And then I see a place downtown called the Lobster Trap, and I was like, oh my God, that's kind of sad. And then it turns out the Lobster Trap is awesome, and I can get fresh seafood everywhere. And Sam has been integral to that for years, even though Mother Ocean has only been open for a couple of years. Right. He's been bringing seafood up, especially oysters. He's like a big oyster guy. Been doing that for a long time.
Nice.
And he's a really nice guy. And Mother Ocean has lunch, very limited hours for their lunch, so check online. But he
just expanded to 4 p.m.
Oh, okay. Well,
he told me that at the market. He said it was people were coming in 2:30, 3 o'clock, and so they just extended to 4.
Why wouldn't you? If you can. Staffing is always an issue these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got like all kinds of deep fried po' boy type sandwiches. And I grew up in New England, so a plate full of fried fish and French fries and tartar sauce is kind of like my go-to.
Comfort food.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of like barbecue for a Southerner.
That's right. You seen that meme going around of the really bad looking barbecue? It's like
I haven't seen it.
It's from Minnesota or something like that.
Oh, okay.
The barbecue looks awful. It just looks terrible. And it says the meme is, I'm pretty sure that this barbecue stormed the Capitol on January 6th.
Nice.
So that's a good segue in from where'd you eat, what'd you cook? Oh wait, but we didn't talk to Davine about where she ate and what she cooked. All right, well there goes my segue. But let's talk to Davine. So lay it on us.
So I made a blackberry cobbler using puff pastry.
Ooh, snap.
Ooh.
I love puff pastry.
We're just finding out now?
So
Rick, that was world-class guilt trip, man.
So if you go to Ingles frozen food section, they sell these 2-pound bags of frozen blackberries.
Okay.
And they're huge. They're like an inch each.
Okay.
They're huge. And so they make a great cobbler because you don't necessarily need the texture of a fresh blackberry in a cobbler because it's all cooked down.
Yeah.
And so I mixed in some cinnamon with it and some turbinado sugar and some cornstarch and a little bit of lemon juice and smashed that puff pastry into the bowl and cooked it up and put some Cabot's organic whipped cream on top.
Damn. Davine. Now that we know you can do that.
Southern dishes of blackberry cobbler. I think cobblers are pretty popular down here.
Yeah.
My dad always liked peach or strawberry or peach cobbler. Yeah.
Last cobbler I made was peach. So
north.
So I recommend the frozen peaches from Trader Joe's because they hold their color when you cook them. They don't get all kind of washed out looking. They hold color really well.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Cobbler tips with Davine.
Cobbler tips. Frozen blackberries from
Ingles. Frozen peaches from Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. There you go. So that's what I cooked this week. I didn't cook anything else. I made salad all week.
That's great. Salad's so healthy.
Summertime salads are the thing.
Yeah.
But I saw his picture of his scallops tonight, and I was so envious because I've never been able to get that great sear on my scallops that I saw on the picture of his.
You would know the secret?
I was very jealous, yes.
What is
the secret? Is you sprinkle a little flour on them.
Wow. All right, folks. You just heard it. Rick Crillia, world's greatest eater, perhaps the world's greatest home cook, is now giving away his secrets exclusively on this podcast.
If you see his scallops, I mean, I've ordered scallops all the time in restaurants, and I've never seen a better sear.
Oh, listen to TV.
See.
Oh, my goodness. Now every restaurateur in town is going to be like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
We just got
I almost believe it because I'm real impressed. It was like, I don't know that I've made scallops this good before.
They looked great.
Well, and he did say that
seafood.
They're very fresh. And that's the key. I think that's partly the key. Wild caught fresh scallops.
From the coast of North Carolina.
From the North Carolina coast.
Local scallops. And I'll tell you, here you go, Rick. When I first saw your picture, I thought it was from Vivian. That's how tasty it looked.
Oh.
Yeah. And Vivian, for those who don't know, is, for my money, in the top 3 restaurants in this town. And I think that the chef there and his partner in the front of the house and behind the bar are destined for national recognition. So there you go, Rick. It looked as good as that.
There you go.
Yeah. So when you're ready to open a restaurant and you need somebody to eat all the food, come.
I'll call you.
You write me a coupon.
Having worked in restaurants, I can guarantee you that will never happen.
So fun to cook for 1 or 2 people. So not fun to cook for 100.
Especially when you're out of the thing that they just ordered.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's no pain like that. I had to call. Man, one of my least favorite jobs for Kickback. I work for Kickback, a local hot food delivery company, and one of my least favorite calls to make is to tell the customer that we have to cancel their order because the restaurant ran out of what they ordered. And it's like you can hear the shattering of their heart over the phone, and then sometimes they're just like, "Really? Oh, okay." And it's like the saddest thing. It's like telling them there's no Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And and then I'm always like, like let's say Post 25 is closed, which and they didn't tell us. So somebody ordered, and then I'm like, I'm sorry, they're closed, and we got to cancel your order. And I hear the heartbreak, and then I'm like, but Chestnut is open, and you can get a similar meal at Chestnut.
There you go. Look at you. Yeah.
They're always very thankful for that. And sometimes I do see an order come up, like for the restaurant I just recommended, and I'll open it up, and it will be that person, and I'll feel all the joy rush back into my heart. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's great. Yeah. I've gotten a couple of those calls before, like, the restaurant's really behind. It's going to be an extra hour and a half. And I'm like,
you must order from Rockies. That's a frequent.
I can't remember where. It's been a couple of places like that. But I think it was also part of it was bad weather and some other things, just like coming out of the pandemic, when things were still dicey. So
anything can happen. Car accidents, gas prices.
All I know is, man, I would not have survived 2020 without Kickback. There's no way. I do all the cooking, and I do all the grocery shopping mostly, and so it's like I was like leaning on them hard all last year.
Yeah.
Once I realized they came all the way out here to the middle of nowhere to Lothlorien.
The Tolkien references never stop, Davey. As soon as you're ready to start contributing to our Tolkien references, you just go right ahead.
I have one.
Okay.
Zinzanuti.
Zinzanuti.
Might not be from Tolkien, but it is as far away from anywhere you are as you can get. It's in Zinzanuti.
Zinzanuti. That's where Doc Brown's is located, in Zinzanuti. All right, I'm going to remember that, Davey, and that's a good one. I'll tell people like,
So
oh,
what's
you
the
got
epigenesis of Zinzanuti?
epigenesis. Listen to this guy.
Well, a word like Zinzanuti needs a little churching up,
Where'd it come from? Where'd you get that word, Davey?
I have known that since my 20s, and I don't know exactly the source.
Colloquialism.
Up on the magical Google, we might find out where it originated from. That means really far away. And I think it might be a Southern colloquialism, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's especially like a Southern Gulf colloquialism, I would bet.
Yeah, because I would think I was down in Southern Alabama when I heard it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be looking that up after the show. Zinzanuti. If any of the listeners want to call in.
I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, she's going, folks. That's why you're the producer.
Wait, people can call in?
No. Rick's like, damn.
When I had my college radio show, I would get calls, and it was fun.
I wish we could. I would do a call segment if we could. Well, let's get into the food news, because there was a seafood segue that I wanted to do when you were talking about Mother Ocean, and that is our next food shortage, our next price hike is going to be lobster. As if that wasn't expensive enough, right? Now they're talking about $30, $35 lobster rolls being commonplace. Wow. I remember when I was a kid in New England, you'd pay like $9 or something like that.
Yeah,
and then,
$10.
Went straight up from like $9 to $25 in the 80s, and I blame fast food chains, man. Who was a fast food chain got no business selling lobster rolls, and it's probably scraping half of it into the trash every day, There's a limited number of those sea bugs, and you can't just be selling them for cut rate prices at chain restaurants. That's crazy talk. You got to save them for the mom and pop roadside places and stuff. But anyways, Rick, so and Davine, that's the next food crisis. So chicken wings, ketchup packets, meat, and now lobster. What are they going to take away from us next?
Coffee.
You bite your tongue, sir. Oh my God.
I stopped drinking coffee this week.
You stopped?
Yeah, I'm drinking. It's my seasonal switch. It's normally in July. I go to just regular black iced tea, unsweetened.
Okay.
And just cold, but no milk or anything, not proper. But I started early because I got hot. Wake up hot, like don't want hot coffee. So
yeah, a man your age goes through that.
It's my hot flashes.
Yeah. Well, let me say that unlike the meat crisis, which was caused by a hack, and the ketchup crisis, which was caused by, I guess, people desperately wanting packets of ketchup, and the chicken wing crisis, which, as far as I know, was caused by that cold snap in Texas that shut everything down, killed a bunch of chickens. The lobster thing, there's no one single reason. It's like a bunch of factors coming together, including that the lobster hunting season, I don't know what you would call it, fishing season, I guess, was cut short. And so there's just not as many. And lobster is hard to harvest. It's not like you line them up and rope them into the corral and all of that. They're skittering around on the ocean floor. Did you hear about the guy who got swallowed by a whale?
Yes.
Holy moly. He was a lobster
fisherman. Out. He's like a modern day Jonah.
Absolutely. Like couldn't have a better analogy than that, right? Like perfect. But it was not it was a whale that eats plankton. So it was all like spit him back out. It ate him by accident. He was a lobster diver. He dove into and he picked him up by hand. It's like so crazy.
Do you think? I always think lobster divers. When I hear that word, I imagine them in the old waxed canvas diving suit with the big bell helmet and the
Totally.
brass cage, and they're like got lead boots, and they're just going down like walking like Frankenstein, picking up lobsters, and like putting them in a basket, yanking a chain, and they take it up, and they just keep walking around like Frankenstein. That's what I think of lobster divers.
Let's just hopefully that's true. Let's just pretend that it is. That's how they do it. So this guy's down there stomping around in his Frankenstein boots, and a whale comes along, and it's like, and then it's like, that tasted terrible. That wasn't very planktony at all.
I bet it was the lead boots he didn't like.
That's right.
It must have been
kicked in the upper palate with a lead boot.
He take that lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Touched
it.
Might have touched
stuck in the epiglottis.
Yeah. Or touched a filling. I hate that. Yeah. And
whale filling.
Yeah. Spit you back out, you lead boot wearing MFer. So that right there is the reason why lobster is so expensive, is because of this. The cost of lead boots has gone through the roof, and
the hazard. It's a hazardous job because whales will try to eat you.
Exactly. The base pay just went through the roof, and so the consumer has to absorb that. Yeah. So what else was in my food news section? Oh, and then to bring it super local from this global whale situation into a more local thing, the doner kebab up there at the mall closed up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. It was this is gonna sound like not the greatest accolade, but it was the best food at the mall. Right? That's what everybody always said. It's the best food at the mall.
Well, it's like German Bavarian street food, right?
Yeah, a doner is like a gyro, but it's slightly different. It was really good, and they made their own bread, which was really good. It's like a pita almost, but
right.
And their French fries were fantastic, and it was just really good food. I would have eaten there all the time if it wasn't at the mall. And it's not part of a chain or anything like that. It's
no, they started out in West Asheville, or at least that's where I remember seeing them. They were in Upcountry for a while.
Yeah, they opened a second location in West Asheville, and then they closed that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I think the COVID year was just really hard on the mall.
Yeah.
The mall itself suffered because the doner people were like, if anybody knows of a space, let us know. So I'm hoping they open a doner kebab down the street from my house. Plenty of space. My neighbor has plenty of space in their house.
Sublet part of your yard.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, you see my yard. I think about that all the time. I wish I could just offer that to a food truck to park there all day, but they'd have to park on an extreme angle because of my yard. So it's sad that the doner is leaving the mall, but in my opinion, if they can find another space, it'll actually be a great move for them, because lots of people were like, I didn't even know they existed. Like, why are they at the mall? And so I feel like the mall was kind of like not the greatest location.
I didn't even know the mall was still a going thing.
It might not be.
So
who knows? Who knows how it'll come out of all of this? But so that's my news. Did I have any other news? Did you lobster prices? Blah blah blah.
Food news.
Yeah, that's it for my food news. And what time is it? It's 8. According to my clock, it's 8:26.
I got 8:23.
8:23. Okay, we are not synchronized. What do you have, Davine? What time?
8:23.
8:23. What is wrong with me? My computer is all. Oh wait, my phone says 8:23. It's my computer that's all messed up. Let me just talk about that. I got a shipment of food from Patchwork Urban Farms this afternoon. Dawn went and picked it up. And I don't know if I've talked about this before on the show, but Patchwork Urban Farms is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's a series of people's yards and stuff that have been turned into farms in the Asheville area.
Oh, neat.
And it's run by Chef Sunil Patel, who used to do the Indian dinners over at Sovereign Remedies.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
It's a great thing. And now they have something called Patchwork alliance, and they have an online market, and it's a co-op.
Is it like a co-op?
Yeah. So you join,
Nice.
and you join
Yeah.
at different levels. You know, I don't think you need to join in order to buy, but you'd be buying at a certain level. And I joined at the big level just to be supportive. And I think you get sort of first crack at the food or whatever. And we got a nice box of stuff, including a loaf of bread from Well Bread Bakery, and a dozen farm fresh eggs from a local farm, some beautiful greens, some that were like spicy greens and some that were sweet greens for salad greens. And I got some frozen hamburger from a local farm, and we got some frozen shrimp from the coast. And so that's from
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like
a medley of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a CSA. We shopped online to get those things. Like, you know, it's not like they're like, this week you get this. It's like you go online and you buy your stuff. And it's been a little hard for me to shop from their online thing because I'm such a troglodyte and I have such limited food needs when I'm just on my own. It's like, I know I say this every week, but I really just need a column of saltines and a bucket of peanut butter, and I will be the last man standing on this planet.
And organic Pringles.
A tube of organic Pringles. I have very few needs. And so, but they're hardcore. Like, I need coffee. I need half and half. And so they don't have those things. And so I was like, I don't know what to do with this subscription, with this membership I've got. And then Dawn was like, well, do they have greens? I eat salads. And I was like, yeah, look at their thing. So now Dawn does the ordering. And they did have hamburger. So I was like, yeah, give me some burger. And you know why I got the burger? Is because I want to try this smash burger method with the mustard and all of that stuff. I'm going to try it at home, see how I do.
There you go.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do a Loco Moco, Rick.
So
maybe I'll make
so.
Here's the other thing about that Patchwork Gardens.
Yeah.
They will put a patch of garden in your yard if you give them the space.
It's true. Now, I'm not sure if they still do that.
Well, I read it recently, so.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you know, it'd be better to check for sure, but
yeah,
I read it recently, and I'm like, my back 40 could use some gardening back there.
Some love. Yeah.
And
what they do is, or back in the day, and I hope they still do this, is you would be like, hey, I've got this part of my yard I don't use, and they would come and they would see if it was farmable at all. And then they would take it over from you and they would farm it, and they would plant stuff and they would grow stuff. And as far as I know, you didn't have to do any farming unless you were inclined to do that. And then they would harvest it and you would get some of it. And the rest they would give to people in need and sell to local restaurants. And I think, I don't know if they're still doing it that way when you have a piece of your yard farmed up. But I have a pretty big yard for downtown. And so I did look into it. And at the time there was a hella long wait list because a lot of people.
People who are stuck at home. They're like, hey, come grow stuff in my yard.
Yeah. So it's a cool thing, and I encourage people in Asheville to look that up. Patchwork Alliance is what it's called now. Yeah. So and Sunil Patel is just an amazing chef. So I'm hoping he'll start doing his Indian dinners again. Did you ever go to eat to those, either of you guys, Rick?
No, I read about them, but I never got. I was new.
And Davey,
I didn't know anybody.
Did you go to any of those Indian dinners?
No.
Okay. Do you like Indian food?
I don't like curry. I don't like curry. I'm looking on their Patchwork Urban Farms, trying to see if I can find something to update us here before we have to go off in 2 minutes. But we should answer that the next time if we don't get it now.
Okay.
Yeah, we should look that up. So
I can see if somebody from Patchwork wants to come on the show sometime. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Maybe Sunil.
Yeah, that would be great. I had him on my radio show back in the day. He was a great guest. It's great. He knows a lot of stuff, man. Yeah, farming and cooking.
Yeah, and what I saw, I mean, it's possible that it was a web or some sort of article or something about them from maybe 5 years ago. So they might not be doing it again. But if they are doing it again, I think that's a great deal if you can get them to come farm your property.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as lazy as they get, Davine. So if I could get somebody else to come farm my yard, I'd be like, just give me.
Hey, it's all yours.
Yeah, I'd be like, just give me like 3 zucchinis and take the rest out of here. Yeah, I'd be like, I don't even want my portion of the food. You bring it to Rick's house, and he'll cook something, and then I'll be like, Rick, I want some of that food.
There you go.
Yeah, what am I going to do with raw vegetables?
Well, my clock says 8:30.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, two of you. This was a really fun show. And wings up for next week. I'll eat a wing even if I've already had it 20 times. And anybody who made it this far through the show, thanks for listening. And we'll be back. We won't be back next week. We're taking a little bit of time off, but we'll play some reruns, some exciting reruns for you. All right, everybody. Bye.